Good evening, and I want to welcome each one of you here today at the Twiggs County Board of Education meeting, especially our in-person guests, as well as those of you that are online. It's my pleasure at this time to call the Twiggs County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, April the 23rd, 2024, and the time is 6 o'clock. Now, we have two young ladies that's going to lead us in the pledge today, two sisters. So we're going to ask the Bond sisters to come on up, and we're going to ask everybody to stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
It's great to have a big sister.
So I want to thank our pledge students this evening. We have Zayla Bond, 5th grade. Thank you, Zayla. And we have Zaria Bond, 1st grade. Let's give them a round of applause. So I want to present you ladies with a certificate, and you're going to take a picture with the superintendent. Thanks again for serving our district.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, April 20. April the April the 23rd, 2020. Can I get a motion, please? Make that motion. Second. The motion to approve the agenda for April 23rd, 2024 has been properly made by Mr. Rouse and second by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on the adoption of the motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Is there any questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Now, the minutes for Tuesday, April the 9th, 2024 work session, you've had an opportunity to view that earlier. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Since there are no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. Ms. Blackshear, ethics statement.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest or interests of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. Do any of the board members have any comments at this time? If not, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, good evening to all that are here in the auditorium with us today and those who are joining us virtually. We want to remind all of our parents in our elementary, middle, and high school that the Georgia Milestone Assessments have begun. They officially began today at Twiggs County Middle High School. The English Georgia Milestones began today. It'll continue tomorrow at JES and at the middle school, and then we'll conclude this week on Thursday with social studies. And then on next week, the milestones will continue for the elementary school and the middle school. Math will begin on Tuesday, and Wednesday they'll wrap up with the middle school with science and the fifth graders with science. So please make sure you get your young ones in bed early, get them a good night's sleep, get them a good breakfast. If you don't have breakfast at home, make sure you send them to school in time to get a good breakfast so they'll do well on their milestones. We know they've been prepared. And then we have about a week break from the testing, and then we have the end of course test for our high school students that will begin. End of course tests are only for students who are taking American Lit, Algebra 1, U.S. History, and Biology. Only for those students. So those students who are taking American Lit, they'll take their assessments on Tuesday and Wednesday, May the 7th and 8th, and the Algebra 1 assessment will be given on Thursday, May the 9th. I said April, I meant May the 7th, May the 8th, and then May the 9th. And then the following week, the U.S. History in the course test will be given on Tuesday, May the 14th, and they'll wrap up with biology on May the 15th. So likewise, make sure your high schoolers get here on time. If they're driving, make sure they get here on time to get a good breakfast before they sit and take their end of course test. We do have Dr. Griffin Stewart, who's going to come forward also at this time, and she's going to make an announcement about our star student and our star teacher.
Good afternoon, Chair Karstafen, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. McBullard, all of our stakeholders listening in person and virtually, good evening. It truly brings me great pleasure to share information about our star student and our star teacher. But before I can share that information with you, we are a district with a vision and a mission. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. Page star, Student Teacher Achievement Recognition. The Student Teacher Achievement Recognition STAR program honors Georgia's highest achieving high school seniors and the teachers most instrumental in their academic development. Since its creation in 1958 by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce, the STAR program has honored more than 29,000 students. In the mid-1990s, the Page Foundation was asked to assume responsibility for the oversight, administration, and promotion of the statewide STAR program. Every accredited high school in Georgia is eligible to participate in this preeminent student-teacher academic recognition. How do students become a STAR student? Students from every accredited high school in Georgia are eligible to participate in this preeminent student-teacher academic recognition. But to be nominated as a STAR student, Georgia high school students meet several criteria, including having the highest SAT score at their schools on any single test date through November of their senior year, and being in the top 10% or top 10 students of their class based on grade point average. High school STAR students are asked to name the STAR teachers who continue with their STAR student at every level of the program. The educator the students chooses may be any pre-K through 12 classroom teacher in good standings in an accredited Georgia school system or private school. It brings me great pleasure to recognize that we have a STAR student in Twiggs as well as a STAR teacher. So our STAR student for the 23-24 school year is none other than Cameron Pearson. And he's selected for his star teacher, none other than our District Teacher of the Year, Mr. Stackhouse. So let's give them another round of applause. We are truly excited about this honor because my first year here, we had a student, and then this year we have a student. And so I'm so excited about the accomplishments of our students and our teacher. And what's next for our star student and teacher? Well, we'll have the State Page Star Banquet. It will be Monday, April the 29th. The reception will start at 6:30, the dinner at 7, and it's in Atlanta, Georgia. So Cameron, his parents, Dr. Bullard, and Mr. Austin will be traveling to Atlanta to celebrate our star student and teacher. So let's give them another round of applause. Are there any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, that ends superintendent comment.
Okay. Well, at this time, we're going to move into our business portion of the meeting. And we're going to ask Mr. Austin to come up and present the finance information.
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, board members, constituents, in person and virtually. I am presenting information on our budget update number 2. It aligns with our vision, generate excellence, one team, one goal, our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As always, it aligns with all 5 of our strategic plan goals. Our QB updates from the state. Our key highlights is that our total earnings that we receive in our quality basic education formula is $333,035 more than FY24. Transportation will receive $149,183 more. State health benefits, $63,600. Our FTE, or full-time equivalent count, is the same from last year, 708, or this current year. 64%, while these earnings sounds great and promising, 64% of those earnings stems from transportation and state health benefit increases, which were promised in the General Assembly through the budget. And also, the remainder of the earnings mostly make up the funding formula increase for the certified staff. As always, the salary schedules. There hasn't been much change to our salary schedules over the course from FY24 to FY25. One thing to note, the certified teaching schedule is being developed and signed by the state still, so I'm waiting for that to be released to the districts. And as soon as that is released, I'll present that information to you all at that time. But there is funding increases that they are promising to the teachers, and I want to make sure that what they said is what they're going to do before I present it. One thing to note on our miscellaneous salary schedule, it is a change from last year, is our academic 1, academic 2 tiers. And this is essentially saying that our employees, they love to be here and they advance and go off and get additional endorsements or certification to certain needs of our students. 5% of their daily rate will be provided for the first relevant endorsement or certification. Anything thereafter will be only $500. We want to keep in budget and ensure that multiple endorsements do not increase their salary so much. We have to adjust scales and schedules, et cetera. So it does keep us aligned with our budget and also keep us aligned with being equitable, if you will. Are there any questions? Additional bus routes, before we get to the question part, has remained the same from last year. The teacher sub pay has always been competitive, and that's the same, and our hourly rate and our rates for drivers and sub pay is the same as well. Are there any questions in regards to the highlights from the FY25 updates and our current salary schedule as they are currently?
Are there any questions? No questions. You can financial statement.
Our monthly financial update, March 31st, 2024. It does align with our vision, mission, and all 5 of our strategic plan goals. In general fund, we have collected receipts of 80%. 77% of expenditure has went out. We are running a surplus month to month at this particular point in time, and we are only 75% of the year complete, which is a great position for us to be in. Debt service fund, we have no activity because we have fulfilled all of our obligations there. Special revenue funds, the only thing to note that is different is that ESSER 3 is sunsetting September 30th of 2024, and we are accounting for the last bit of those funds being expended. And so you will, if you compare from February to March, there's about $1.6 million difference in the budget, but that's because that's the money we have allocated, and we're now tracking that in our month-to-month reports. Capital project funds, a lot of the beautiful things that you're seeing that's going across the district, 80% of that is coming out of our capital project funds. We're 80% into that budget, no pun intended on that. And we have received those funds as well as they have been expended. We draw down, so we do not have any cash flow issues there. School nutrition fund, we're at 78% for its receipts, 75% in expenditures. We always carry a surplus here. Ms. Sandra does a wonderful job, Ms. Stanley, in managing these funds. They are reimbursable for our school food program, and we are about 3% over in revenue compared to expenditures. Are there any questions, concerns at this time?
Any questions?
Thank you.
This time we'll get the field request from Dr. Bullock.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, has already been stated, and we continue to keep in front of us our mission and our vision to generate excellence, one team, one goal, and we do that by inspiring, challenging, and preparing all of our students to compete globally. These field trip requests support that vision and support that mission, as well as the fundraising requests that we have on tonight. We request your approval. Board members, you've already pre-approved the senior trip where they took to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida this past weekend. We thank you for your approval of that trip. We also have a field trip request on the 29th of April. That's by the FCCLA club. They request your permission to travel to the University of Georgia in order to have a college tour of the College of Family and Consumer Science. On Tuesday, the 30th of April, the Accelerated Reader Challenge winners at JES request your permission to travel to Warner Robins to Rigsby for an end-of-the-year read and comprehending literature, stories, dramas, and poems. They request your permission. Ms. Floyd and a contingent of educators will supervise. On Wednesday, the 1st of May, the fourth graders at JES request your permission to travel to Atlanta, to the Atlanta History Center, in order to learn about the causes, major events, and consequences of the Civil War. On Thursday, the 2nd, FCCLA requests your permission to travel to Atlanta to the World of Coca-Cola. And there, they'll be studying food science and studying the product development of different foods and careers. On Friday, the 3rd, the second graders at JES request your permission to travel to Pinstripe to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information in reference to force, push and pull, and the movement of objects, the changing of speed and direction. On Tuesday, the 7th of May, the Beta Club at JES requests your permission to do a community service project at Brittany's Place. They'll go there and they'll play bingo with the residents. On Saturday, the 11th of May, the program for exceptional children at JES and the middle high school request your permission to travel to Lake Tabascafe, and this is for a special Olympics event, Appreciation Day, where they did participate last week in the Special Olympics in Macon, Georgia. On Wednesday, the 15th of May, the 7th and 8th graders at the middle school would like your permission to travel to Wild Adventures. This is to study force, motion, energy, living organisms, ecosystems, and ecology. On Friday, the 17th, the pre-K at JES like your permission to travel to Stevie B's in order to learn about culinary arts, basic math, and looking at shapes, counting, discussing pieces, origins, and cultural awareness, promoting teamwork and communication skills. On the 20th of May, the seniors at the high school request your permission for some senior week activities. On that Monday, they'd like to go to Cracker Barrel and then to the Golden Ticket Cinemas for senior week activity. And then on Tuesday, they'd like your permission to go to Rigby's Entertainment Complex for senior week activity. On Thursday, May the 20th, the 8th through 12th grade students at middle high school would like your permission to travel to, and these are selected students, to the Nelson Shell Center at Georgia Tech. This is to develop understanding of engineering and technology and identifying associate career tracks in that area. And you'll hear a little bit more about that tonight. There were 2 fundraiser requests as well. That we request your permission for the girls basketball team to sell field day t-shirts in order to raise funds for the girls basketball team. And the Strike Force Booster Club would like to have a fish fry in order to raise funds, support all of the athletic teams on the 8th of May. Mr. Chair, board members, this concludes our district.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. I will now entertain a motion to approve district requests and fundraisers.
Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the district request.
Field trips. Can I get a second?
Second.
A motion to approve the district request has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? The question is on the adoption of the motion to approve the district request. All in favor, raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Senior week. Okay. At this time, Ms. Denson and Ms. Drummer, CTA information.
Greetings. Superintendent Bullard, Board Chair Karstoffen, Vice Chair Rouse, Board Members King and Blackshear. Tonight, I would like to present to you the Georgia Workforce Preparedness Grant award information. Before we begin, I would like to start with our vision, which is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. I would also like to share with you our alignment with our district strategic goals. The Georgia Workforce Preparedness Grant Award designation aligns with our learning and wellness for all and excellence ahead academics, facilities, and opportunities. I am pleased to announce that Twist County Public Schools is a 2024 recipient of the Georgia Workforce Preparedness Grant in the amount of $44,164. The Georgia Department of Education's Office of Rural Education and Innovation and the Office of Career Technical Agriculture Education, in partner with the Georgia Chamber of Commerce Foundation through the Georgia Chamber Center for Rural Prosperity, has awarded $3 million in grants to rural districts with the intent to increase workforce preparedness. The goal is to link education and to find talent development in our rural areas and to provide our students with opportunities for career advancement once they graduate. In applying for the grant, we focused on 2 areas. Area 1 was strengthen the alignment with business and industry needs. Area 2 was expanding awareness of post-secondary and high-demand career opportunities. We're going to achieve these goals by strengthening our STEM and STEAM pipeline, by offering camps and workshops for our students. We're also going to grow our externship programs for teachers and school counselors so that we better understand how to share information with our students about industry opportunities once they graduate. So, in doing that, this summer, we are partnering with Georgia Tech, the Center for Education Integrating Science, Mathematics, and Computing, and we are going to send 25 students, 9th through 12th grade, and these are going to be our rising 9th through 12th grade students. And we're going to send 5 chaperones to accompany them on a week-long residential camp at Georgia Tech. That camp is going to be June 3rd through June 7th of this summer. At the camp, students will have an opportunity to participate in hands-on activities, incorporating all of the STEAM areas. The goal of the camp is to help students to understand what career opportunities are available, and so they can start making some decisions about what they actually want to pursue once they graduate. That camp, again, is going to be June 3rd through June 7th. We are also going to spend some time with our middle school students this summer. We are going to send them to the Atlanta Junior Achievement Discovery Summer Camp. That camp is hosted in Cummings, Georgia. There are several facilities, but we chose the Cummings, Georgia facility. That is going to be June 10th through the 14th. At the Junior Achievement Academy, students will have a hands-on interactive opportunity to engage with community. Students get jobs, they get to make financial decisions, and it's going to be a really, really impactful opportunity for them because it gives them an idea of what life really looks like once they graduate. And it also helps them to start thinking about what place they will play or what role they will play in the community and what their impact is going to be. That camp, again, is going to be June 10th through the 14th, and we're selecting 20 students to participate in that. Finally, using those grant funds, we are going to offer educator externships, paid educator externships in the month of June, between June 1st and June 22nd. Teachers, educators within the district in any capacity, really, because we want everybody to be able to advocate for our students from K-12. They will do a 1-day, 8-hour job shadowing at a business and industry of their choosing. And it's going to be, right now we currently have partnerships with Cayman and Academy Distribution Center to host those partnerships. However, because we know that teachers have different interests and we want to provide our students with as many opportunities as possible, the teachers can select business and industry that will better align with what content they're teaching. That is going to be June 1st through 22nd, and then we're going to debrief by June 26th. Are there any questions?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Wow. I graduated too early. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To Dr. Bullard, Superintendent, Mr. Karstoffen, Board Chair, Mr. Rouse, Vice Chair, Ms. Blackshear, and Ms. King, good evening. To all those watching virtually and who have joined us in person, good evening as well. I would like to begin with our vision, which is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission, which is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. My presentation this evening aligns to strategic plan goals 1 and 2, which are learning and wellness for all, and excellence ahead in academics, facilities, and opportunities. So I'm excited to share with you information about the First Generation College Institute at Georgia Tech. So let's talk about what constitutes a first-generation student. A first-generation student is a child who has neither parent that has earned a bachelor's degree or equivalent at a 4-year college or university in the U.S., or both parents have less than a bachelor's degree, so they can have an associate's or a certificate, or they have one parent that has earned less than a bachelor's degree, and the other parent's education level is unknown or missing. So the First Generation College Institute, or FGCI for short, is a summer initiative at Georgia Tech designed to expand Georgia Tech's existing pre-K through 12 STEM programs. This is a 4-day, 3-night residential program. That means that they will be staying on campus in a dorm, experiencing the college life for a few days there. And the aim of this is to amplify the Institute's impact by identifying, engaging, and preparing these first generation and limited income rising 9th through 12th grade students for the transition from high school to college. And they also want to make sure that these particular students have an aptitude towards STEM. So they are more inclined to choose careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. So this program is offered through Seismic, which Ms. Denson just mentioned, is a Center for Education integrating science, mathematics, and computing. And this is also a unit of the Division of Lifetime Learning at Georgia Tech. So the program goals for this institute is to unite first-generation high school students around a shared identity of being a first-generation college student. So going ahead and letting them network and form a bond with other students. Preparing and empowering these first-generation and limited income rising 9th through 12th grade students for the transition to college. Connecting first-generation and limited income students with programs, resources, and people that will support their success at Georgia Tech, which is extremely important. And also they want to engage students through high-quality academics and hands-on STEM enrichment learning, which is what they will do while they're there. I will share more about that when we get to the daily agendas. So let's look at some of the applicant demographics from Twiggs County Middle High School. So I am very proud to say that we now have 28 students who've applied. Yep. And just so you know, the application did require that they complete 3 short essays. And although some students thought that was a bit much, they persevered and they did complete those essays. And we have a 85% acceptance rate so far. Wow. So as of yesterday, we had 26 children who had applied, and 23 of those were accepted. There are half and half as far as gender. There are 13 young men and 13 young ladies who have been accepted into the program. There are a majority of 8th grade children who have applied, so our rising 9th grade students are really going to represent this summer on the campus. And we have 2 10th graders. They're both 10th graders. They have applied. And we also have a group of 17 African Americans, 7 Caucasians, 1 Asian, and 1 Hispanic student to have applied. So very proud of all of the students.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to share the daily agendas with you all. I will go through these very quickly. On Thursday, the 20th, that is a kickoff day. And registration begins at 10. Because we have such a large group of students attending, I did speak with Dr. Bullard, and he agreed that the district would provide transportation because we do not want transportation to be a barrier to our students who've been accepted actually participating in this worthwhile experience. So we are planning to leave on Thursday, June 20th at 8 a.m. from the Twiggs County Middle High campus. Once we arrive, they'll get settled in, and lunch is at 1. They're going to have some community building. They're going to have a campus tour and dinner. And each night they have a community building activity, and for the first night it'll be movie night. 9 p.m. they return to their residences, and lights out are shortly there. Will be shortly there. All right, so on Friday the 21st, they'll have breakfast about 8 o'clock. And they'll start with their learning session number 1 at 9. At 11, they'll have lunch with representatives from the different Georgia Tech college campuses. So it might be the engineering, or it might be health sciences, things like that. People will come and join them for lunch so that they can talk with people in the fields they might have an interest in. They'll have a second learning session at 2 o'clock, dinner at 6:30, and then they'll have community building again, but they'll go bowling in the student center, and then they'll return to their residence afterwards. On Saturday, the 22nd, again, they'll start with breakfast. They'll have another learning session, lunch with more Georgia Tech colleges, a learning session at 2 o'clock, dinner, and then for their community building, they'll go swimming and return to their dorms. On the final day, which is Sunday, June 23rd, they'll enjoy breakfast. They'll go ahead and pack up, make sure they have all their belongings, and there will be a learning session for the participants and their families, and then they will be dismissed at 12 o'clock to come on. So we expect that they will arrive back around 2:30. Permission slips are being sent out as of today, actually. And so a lot of parents are expressing great gratitude that the district is providing transportation. So are there any questions?
I would just like to say that we have a lot of great things lined up for our students this summer. I'm excited about it. But will we have summer school? We will. We will. Okay. All right. That's.
Who wants to do
But
summer
thank you
school?
all. We will have summer school. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Boy,
Work is never done.
I don't know if I've ever been a teacher if I had all that going on.
Summer school, regular school.
But anyway, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing with our young people, and appreciate that. At this time, that concludes our general session. We're getting ready, so we're going to be moving into executive session. Can I get a motion at this time to move to executive session?
I move that motion.
Second. Okay, the motion has been properly moved by Ms. Blackshear and second by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on the adoption of the motion to move to executive session. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. We want to thank each one of you for hanging out with us today. Pass on the good news. Thank you. this time we want to, can I get a motion to return from executive session?
So move.
Second.
Okay, the motion to return from executive session has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on the adoption to return from executive session. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. At this time, can I get a motion to accept the new hires, 50024985 and 5004, the resignation 3423, and the transfer appointment 3453 and 3344. Can I get a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation on the new hires, the resignations, and the transfer?
I move to accept the new hires, resignation, and the transfer.
Can I get a second? Okay, the motion to accept the superintendent's recommendations for the new hires, the resignations, and the transfer has been properly made by Ms. King and second by Mr. Rouse. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, the question is on the adoption of the motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation. All in favor, raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any other business we need to discuss? Well, then this meeting is now adjourned.